I'm Danielle Kurtzleben, political reporter at NPR. At the Democratic debates this week, there will be 20 candidates on stage trying to tell Americans about their policy positions. So this is a primer on the main policy issues we'll be watching for at the first Democratic debates. First, healthcare.
Healthcare is a right, not a privilege.
Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All plan has played a huge role in setting the terms of the healthcare conversation. That plan is a single-payer plan. It would create a government-run insurance program financed by taxpayers. Polls have shown that Democrats like the idea, but also that lots of voters don't understand exactly what it means. Many don't realize, for example, that it would virtually eliminate private insurance. So one important question is whether candidates would be okay with that kind of dramatic step. Second, climate change. After being a lower-tier issue for years among Democrats, climate change has taken center stage. And a lot like Medicare for All in the healthcare debate, the sweeping Green New Deal has set the terms of the climate discussion. But then the Green New Deal isn't a policy, it's more of a broad framework that sets out big goals. So a thing to listen for at the debates is how specific candidates get, and how much they end up differing from each other on what exactly to do about climate change. Third, trade. This is an area where there's room for candidates to really differ. As Vice President, Joe Biden, along with plenty of Democrats, was pushing the Trans-Pacific Partnership. That's a massive deal that was meant to open up Asian markets and also attempt to set the trade rules for China. But this was a big rift in the party. Other Democrats, like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, were staunchly opposed to the deal, saying it was a bad deal for American workers. And that message, that trade hurts American workers, is one that President Trump ran heavily on in 2016. Fourth, foreign policy. All of these candidates are auditioning to be commander-in-chief at a time of growing international tensions. So they're facing some tough questions. How would they deal with Iran? Was it wrong for Trump to sit down with Kim Jong-un? How do you stop Russian interference in elections? How would they repair relationships with allies that Trump has strained? These are huge questions, and ones that a president would play a huge part in answering. And finally, priorities. Each of these candidates has taken positions, or made vague pronouncements, on dozens of issues. But they can't do everything, so they'll have to prioritize. And one thing we're watching closely for are what candidates would tackle in their first 100 days. What issues are so important that they would spend their precious political capital on them right after inauguration? For more on our debate coverage, go to npr.org or your local public radio station.